But if you're also watching the recording of this, throw a question in there. Both either Al or I or one of our team members will be happy to answer you and continue that conversation. So you put those 3 pillars up there for us to talk about. How does that, we've got a global audience here. How does that change as we go around the world? Are those priorities the same regardless? I mean, I know net support is in, I think it's like 30 countries or something like that. Does that change as you see operations around the world, or do those priorities stay the same?
It's a really good question, and I am quite proud. So it's 110 countries we're in now. So,
I missed that one by a factor of 4.
Please don't ask me to list them. Okay, this isn't a quiz or a competition. But on a serious note, the irony is actually it often changes as much within schools within a city as it does around the world. Now, of course, when we think about around the world in education, particularly the lessons of the last 18 months, we're naturally drawn to things like infrastructure and that digital equity, the access to have that option for a different kind of provision away from the bricks and mortars of a school. So clearly some countries have better infrastructure to provide children with access to technology, access to broadband and other connectivity that allowed them to, for want of a better term, level the playing field. And so different countries are on a different timeline in terms of what they could offer. But I actually think when we really look at what are the challenges, let's go down into the city, or frankly, let's go down into the schools within our district, because the real driver is that no 2 schools are the same. And actually the real shape of where are we at now and what's our next step is firstly shaped by what the infrastructure is within the school, how well resourced it's been or replenished and refreshed over the last, say, 5 years. And also the teaching cohort and the staff cohort in a broader sense. Where are they at in terms of their own digital confidence? And I'm using the word confidence rather than competence, because what our teachers have demonstrated over the last 18 months is, as well as having to become social workers and health workers and all the rest of it, they've managed to acquire and embed an amazing amount of additional digital competence. But everybody's going to be at a different point in that journey. And so I think when we look at these things, you start by saying, well, look, I'm not going to make this a competition. It's not an arms race between our school and the next school as who's got the most tech. It's not about that to say who's got the best solution, because of course the tech is just the facilitator to enable great teachers to do amazing things with young people. It's just, it's part of the show. It's not the main actors on the stage. And so if we think around that, many schools will look and say, well, actually in our school, we probably, in reflection, and I'll include a lot of schools, including some of mine within our own multi-academy trust, we in hindsight probably need to reflect on that hour, 2 hours of training on a new solution at the start of the academic year as inset, and maybe start to think that we should be looking to extend that continuous professional development. We need to be doing the teach meets and the other activities throughout the academic year so that we're building confidence and skills. Many schools have seen an influx of tech that's been supported by government initiatives, but tech isn't the solution. I mean, tech is part of the solution, but we've got to think about the right applications that we put on top of it. We've got to look about the teacher confidence to use those applications effectively so they have impact, and the student confidence. And I was talking quite recently at an event where I had this kind of debate about the old digital natives conversation about, well, young people, they're fantastic with technology. And newsflash, just because you know how to work technology doesn't mean that you'll be able to work the applications the schools uses, or more importantly, use them safely and effectively. It just means you're bold enough to dive in and you've got a pretty good idea of where to go. So there's that whole wraparound of how do we empower it.